to its character, the EFF government, through the MMCs of Health and Environmental and Agricultural Management in the City of Tshwane, continues to shine on its ambitious commitments in line with the city's 100-day plan of action, which includes providing equitable basic service delivery to all residents of Tshwane. The MMC of Health Services, Tegofatso Mashabela, raided ShopRite in one of the city's busiest places, Sunnyside, to ensure maximum compliance.
No, there was none, but there was an application. Yes, let me get the admin just to repair the.
And then the fire application to buy. At least the whole of the certificate. Applications or certificate because already fill it. Stand around Romana go to see when so open up. And then I give you got corner for other managers and then
the procedure.
Right in the apartment, the chair.
But I can move here and anti-related to the video.
Yes, that will be great, bro.
The raid led to a closure of Freedom Supermarket in Sunnyside due to non-compliance.
Yeah, we apply again. We're waiting for the.
Can we see?
Now, I promise you, I don't have the papers. They can send the email, everything to me.
Okay, we're going to charge you for that.
Okay.
Second, fire. No, it's not. What is this? This 2018 is out. Do you have the latest one?
I don't know.
Okay, but then tell me, except this is a fire for cooking and all.
What are not cooking anymore. It's no more.
What is it to do only now?
Only supermarket.
Okay, do you have
no bakery, no cooking, nothing. No.
Nothing. So it's only general day.
Yeah.
Okay.
So give me a fine for that because I did apply.
No, but you don't have it here. I can even ask you to close.
We are closing.
Our service delivery tracker landed us in Attridgeville, west of Pretoria, where we identified uncollected waste. We spoke to the MMC of Environmental and Agricultural Management, Obaking Ramabudu, who hastily attended to the issue.
How are you, Celsius?
I'm alright in MMC.
Yes, I'm here at Attridgeville, next to the Banco, on the street next to the park. And the whole street bins are not collected and it's 4 o'clock. What is happening?
In Attridgeville, we usually have the trucks collect 2 loads. So I spoke with the inspector. Actually, he'll be coming to the ground to come that site. The other truck should be around working somewhere because he was just there but a few minutes earlier on before you came there. So we have the trucks. They wake up until 5, 6 o'clock. So the time for collection is still within the time frame.
But is that communicated with the community? Because I've spoken to 2 of them whom they've told me that the times are not the same. Are we emphasizing on communicating? What time exactly are we collecting?
We usually communicate with the councillor. We have councillors group, but usually some of the things can be answered by the inspector. But he just emphasized that the collection should be, the truck should be around somewhere. So I said he must locate the truck and just inform me where could it be at this time. But we are still collecting because Attridgeville and Linfield is far, so we usually were there till a bit late. But normally just after 5 o'clock. So the truck, it should be within the area. Let me just find out where exactly in the area is it.
Okay, please bridge me, give me a feedback. And then the last part, the families that are using plastics without the containers, what is happening? Are they not registered with us? And then what do we do to make sure that they are registered with us?
Actually, at Ridgeville, for the safety of their bins, most communities on the day of collection, MMC, they take out plastic bags, but you find that they do have bins in the household, but they just don't take out the bins for safety because they get stolen. We experience that a lot in Attridgeville.
Okay.
But you find that they do have bins.
No, thank you. No, I think we are going to follow up. We're going to wait here until we are satisfied that all these are collected. But that's what we want to emphasize. And this is to deliver a message to our officials and the municipality that we need to render services to our people. We need to give them the services that they deserve. And that's what we are doing.
We are continuing with our first leg of tracking service delivery done by our MMCs deployed here in the metropolitan of Tshwane, the city of Tshwane. And now we have landed in Atteridgeville. But before we came here, we were in the inner city of Tshwane, where a shop was closed due to non-compliance. We also raided ShopRite because there were issues that had to do with non-compliance. So the MMC of Health attended to that problem. But now we are at Atteridgeville, where we are engaging with residents just to get a sense of how they feel about service delivery done by our MMCs in the city of Tshwane. We just want to understand from your point of view, how do you feel about this type of services that you're receiving from the City of Tshwane municipality?
We are not happy with the rent. Ba romela di bills are different every month. We are struggling. We are not working. Like me, salary ke A1 ka mo ga ke ntate fela ibile sala tswa pension 2015. Bana ba kry mebereko ha ba bereki. So we are struggling ka di rent. And then hore o lebeletse. Now I don't have any leakage. I cannot any leakage. Kore ke make sure gore a kana leakage. Mare metsi ha tla a fa le high. I don't understand. And hanke ke ba bona hape ba tla ba tlo tsa to the meter readings. So I ke tsebe why. And then twen kwatisang thata ko gore rente gona no they say I'm owing 24,000 from 10,000. I ke tsebe na minutes ning byang I can't because never thoma go romela di receipts tsa di rente maloba all along ntse ba sa rumele di dustbin ha shemba di tsia tsona. I for
one believe that there is a considerable improvement in terms of service delivery. Yeah, unlike in the past. I mean, take for instance the cleanliness of the town. Now you can tell that this is actually the administrative capital. You can tell from, all street corners, there's just the cleanliness alone. The waste at some point, it was very, very devastating.
Because look at level la drop barina currently clean, and then health. Information like I was the guy who was smoking before Daha, but I stopped because of the advice from the MMCs or more clinicing. And currently we are very happy but visit now and then from in our clinics. But I go prostate sharp, but clinic, but so far sharp.
I went to clinic at Philip Nail because my child had broken her leg. Normally, when you go there, you will spend hours on the queues. I was surprised that things were done differently. Before I go there, I was stressing, I don't have medical aid. Where am I going to go? I end up going there. But when I get there, I can go back again. I'm not wishing anything bad happened, but if I had to go there for service delivery, especially into health faculty, I'll go there. Because things has changed, the lines are cutting short. There's a lot of staff now, nurses. Sometimes you'll find 2-3 nurses working for a lot of people. But there's doctors now. So I'm happy with that as well, with the issue of water. It's much better.
In terms of parks, kids can run all over. It's not dangerous like before. Everything is clean. People can drink clean water. Actually, like I say, I'm happy with MMC.
Not so far. I think it won't mean anything. I'm not happy because 4 months to me is too short to see who is doing. Because I'll start with the graveyard. Graveyards are terrible. Graveyards are terrible. Maria Kiamakan. I cut you. How you go graveyard? I get it towards Easter on no Ravereka. Racheka. You have to hire somebody to clean the graveyard. Yakako. I remember about to must find. And I wouldn't say it's kilotasife. Limo old stadamo. Luko Centurion is just the same because those are the areas which I patronize.
Mm-hmm. So, what are you expecting from the new administration?
We expect them to clean the graveyards, to clean our parks, I'm happy, I would say. I'm happy ka the mo shele mo. I think na kuna le tumbu mo shele. I decided I'm quite happy. Yeah, they are trying. And then kuna this road which goes to Kalafo. Kuna le mabaya amatele mo. So I'm not sure if molaba katile because ngari kuna le masubanya where a person can without a fear. But otherwise that area alone is not conducive.
Rente ya tura the last time re maya ina le mo ele bona go le skonvian ke rena so re ra ithata ke safety ya rena ka gore a gona mabone mo strateng. So we had to research mo dipotleng potse SA pensioner ke tshwanetse ke ntshe 200 ya o phata ko ntle ka mogare le gone ke nyake motho tla thusanye metsi mo ana le go tswa about 3 weeks back metsi a tsena go jarteng yaka a tsamale le botana lanki ba tseya nako go tla ke thuse ke mme o na bolela o a founela MMC ba founela le ba banye bo ba masipala ba tla ba lukisa mara after that anke re bona ba service ka mo letamo so re ntse fela mo letamo mo a re bone di services ne and then engwe gape re kry di statements tsa rente a re di kry go re wena tshwantse inaganela a batle metsi a batle ba tlotsa di readings. So ke yona bothata bo ba rena SA pensioner ha bana taba ro pensioner eng ka spatele after the 7 setse ba nthumela message gore wa kolota re tlo tima ke sa waitse khwedi e sinki fele. So bothata ba rena ke tsona bona le mo reservoir ha ba tle ba khata re ba tlose di tharma at least ba prune go be school hape engwe hape le ko spetlele ona di changes di queue ne tse kana no khona ma o tsa di pills ka jeko ba o tla hape the next day o tla di pills hona ba nke bana ba push ele batho ba holwa thoma ka bana pele ba ile ko pele batho ba le ba tlileng frugal ba utlwisisa di pensioners tshwantse di tsamaye di batho ba bona pele o utlwisisa a sublief ke kopela bathata ba le very na le bona tata le ba leng go renteng a sublief tu ba estimate ka tlho ba ngwala ka tlho na re di pensioners re kra 2100 rand rente e tle 1009 o patala ka ensa mathomo o sala kae ka mona le ba ditlogolo go ira ngona mo o single parent go ira re tseng ngona mo ke bothata ba bona le bona bo bogolo mo sublief ka re kopela tu.
So the MMC health litsa environment over far bokai out of 10.
Ke ba 10 e yotlhe ba fa yona. Ke ba fa 10 ke re ke kgotsofetse because of na ke tsa matliniki ke tsa makalafo. Ke ba fa 10.
10 out of 10 minus nothing.
Complete 10 out of 10 complete ke kgotsofetse. Since o tla EFF ho ke bona hona le changes tse ding ne re nna mo hara di tshila especially ho tsena ka le broho la rena la Atteridgeville no le ba le dumping site le ho tswela so ka dikoloi bile di go ira accident ka di tshaba matlakara ba nke bona ho le betere le mo phakeng mola ba khota le go mabiteng a wara khotsofala se seng hape ke khotsofatsa le go dikutliniki ke lo mo kana a ke line ba nkisa kwa go ba ke golong ibile batho ba magala ba ra o mokekolo mara ke mokekolo ke a yona go ka gore ke hola modente a khema line a ke sa bua lata hae le ka la fongile awa ke na le festival la rena la batsofadi and le hona le go patela re patele tšhelete ile kana le ibile re patele pila ka baka la EFF nna ke ithabetse se se bolo se ke se batlang fela ke gore le ka irata ba rente ka gore batho ba le ba rumela mo re ba ngwadisa go teng kwa ba tla mo haimo ba tlo lebella a ke tsore ba lebella ntlo ba ra re tshwantse re ne mo ditshileng o re bya he ba bona ntlo ile byana aowa ntho ya decline a ba sa re thusa ka silo ke hola 2000 mara ba expect 2 point something so nna go ja go patela ka dikotoloto tsa ka di so nna ke khopela thata le ka fixa le mo la re thusa
go ba rate jwang di MMC tsa EFF out of 10
ke ba ruta na ibile ke re 10 out of 10
10 out of 10 minus nothing
10 of 10
There you have it, mixed views, mixed reaction from residents of Atteridgeville expressing their sentiment towards the services they receive from the City of Tshwane. And of course, you'll understand that we only have 2 MMCs deployed by the EFF, that is the MMC of Health Services as well as the MMC of Environmental and Agricultural Management. And other issues that residents are complaining about also speak to other portfolios, but as the EFF in government, of course, the people deployed have the capacity to deliver and resolve such challenges. So thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen, for tuning into the EFF podcast. This was our first leg of tracking service delivery done by our MMCs, and we will continue bringing you an update on the services done by our MMCs throughout the metros. We'll go to other metropolitan as well to just try and find out what is the state of service delivery in those areas. Thank you very much. My name is Titus Tsungu. Until we meet again, good Ekwenget. Kanimam. Thank you very much, people of South Africa, Africa, and the diaspora, and thanks very much for tuning in to this week's edition of the EFF podcast. My name is Titus Tsungu, and today we're coming to you from the city of Tshwane, Africa Zonga, the capital city, and we begin our first leg of tracking service delivery done by our MMCs deployed in the city of Tshwane metropolitan, and I'll be joined, and in fact I'm joined by the MMC of Health Services, Fighter Tshegofatso Mashabela, as well as the MMC of Environmental and Agricultural Management, Fighter Obakeng Ramabudu. Thank you very much for making time, and welcome to the EFF podcast. While we're driving here on our way to the city of Tshwane, we observed very beautiful greenery. The city is clean, even the office is clean. So that speaks to the work that you are doing, MMCs. Thank you very much for that. And perhaps if you can just reflect on the plan of action, the 100-day plan of action that was adopted by the city of Tshwane since you came into office. Of course, some of the key priorities include bylaw enforcement, financial stability, inner city maintenance, inner city rejuvenation, if you like, and so on and so forth. Perhaps just some of the key priorities that you were able to implement.
Well, thank you very much, Titus, and the viewers, the EFF supporters, ground forces. We had inaugurated a skit that was being left unattended in terms of changing the culture on how we approach the issues of cleaning the city. I mean, the issue of night shift was, by the way, currently we have launched a night shift that is monitored and making sure that all the streets from the Hatfield, Sunnyside, the Pretoria CBD, Maraba Stad, intensify the cleaning campaign. And working together with the employees of the city, we are able to see the progress. If you can check here in Chesco where we are doing the interview, you can see a difference.
Absolutely.
Of format. So it was all about the culture. It was all about political will. It was about intensifying the environmental acts and making sure that we teach our people on to clean, on how to love the environment. The hawkers, the taxi drivers, whom they are our stakeholders who are working with. But we have inherited a city where the Auditor General has told us that there's a different culture that is happening financially in terms of procurement, in terms of the asset register, in terms of how we spend money. You know, this is a city that has close to 50 billion of a budget. If you don't use that budget wisely, you are going to have the results that that report is talking about from the Auditor General. We are approaching the new financial year. We have adopted a culture that we want a funded budget. We have asked the departments to cut costs so that we are able to make sure that we arrive come June with a funded budget. So we are working together to make sure that the city is developed with the building committee that we have adopted, you know, with the approach of expropriation of these buildings if we don't get owners, because most of these buildings are either owned by individuals who are in Europe sitting there, or
hijacked.
yes, owned by the Department of Public Works, which is cooperating on this to make sure that we get these buildings and utilize them into the student accommodation, low-cost housing, and even business. You know, if you go to Cape Town, you will see that they have taken hawkers in one building where you don't have to see them on the streets. If you want to have a certain thing or veggies, but you go straight to that building where they make sure that they formalize them. So ours is to make sure that the city is clean, but townships is our priority. The entrances of Namilodi, entrances of Atreshville, entrances of Sushanguve, Harangua, but inside the entrances we must bring a different culture of making sure that we have a clean city in the townships, but also clean city in the CBD. We are working together with many departments to make sure that we achieve that commitment.
MMC of Health Services, Fighter Tshegofatso, the people of Hammanskraal, what a breakthrough for them. You've managed to pull through for them, and now we understand that the water supply to the people of Hammanskraal, I think it's from the Mogale Klipdrift water plant, treatment plant, is now safe for human consumption. But there were contradicting reports at some point that apparently the water is not safe anymore, but there were tests, laboratory tests that confirmed that the water, after such a long time, you have made a historic milestone in ensuring that the people of Hammanskraal have potable water. Talk us through that achievement.
Thank you so much, Tank Tats, and greetings to members of the EFF and the public at large. So it was a breakthrough to actually have a certain portion of Hammanskraal receiving clean water from the past 8 years. They have not been receiving clean drinkable water. They have relied on water tankers, that even those water tankers, there were allegations that the water that they provide, number one, they were selling them to the public. Number two, they were not drinkable, because before they can even drink such water, they need to boil the water. So it is a breakthrough that currently the first phase of providing clean drinkable water to the people of Hammanskraal has been achieved. We are currently on the second phase, and the third phase, we actually, before we finish our tap, the whole of Hammanskraal will be covered with drinkable and clean water.
Sure.
And we do away with the water tankers that are currently just not workable, because they are selling water that come from us. We are paying these service providers to provide water. They are invoicing the city, but when they go to our constituency, they are still charging them. So there's a problem with these tenderpreneurs who do not have the willingness to actually serve our people. Because why would you charge the people of Hammanskraal 200 for you to fill their JoJo tax? That is the current status that we are currently facing as the city. Ours, when we got into office, it was to bring services to people of Tshwane. We decided that we are going to take this government to the by holding Imbizos in each and every single region, where communities raise their frustrations on the issues of billing. We have an issue whereby there are certain households who are built by ESCOM, and there are certain households who are built by the city. That is where we are currently at, in ensuring that we deal with the process of ensuring that every resident who is built come forward and ensure that their service billing is up to date so that they can pay. We have scrapped the debt of Hammanskraal. We have scrapped almost 680 million of debt that were built for the water that was unsafe. So we have scrapped it currently.
Useless water.
It was useless water. So now we have started the process of making sure that each and every household has a meter. We are building the current first phase. So the issue of Hammanskraal, it was close to our hearts because we had a cholera outbreak and claimed lives. So it's not something that we can use as the electioneering machinery. We have failed the people of Hammanskraal for the past 8 years as this seat.
Yeah. But lucky enough, you came on board, and now there's a breakthrough. People have access to clean water. And let's look at the policy of the EFF. The EFF wants clinics to operate 24 hours. Have you made some stride in ensuring that at least the people of Tshwane have access to healthcare services around the clock?
Yes, we are currently benchmarking with the Olivenbosch Clinic because we feel like that's the major one that we can take into a 24-hour clinic, looking at the vast of the township and how it is growing. We have many informal settlements in sub-region 4 whereby we do not have any provincial hospital. So Oliven is currently on our priority list as the mayoral committee, and we will ensure that we benchmark and ensure that we give the residents of Tshwane a 24-hour clinic. It is not easy when have financial constraints, but we are going to start with it and see if it becomes a success. We'll actually wish that all our clinics operate on a 24-hour basis because healthcare is just important.
And I want to know how geopolitics are affecting the lives of the people of Tshwane. If we can just look at the impact of the halting of the US aid to the SA government, how's the impact on the ground? Because we understand that when Trump cut aid to South Africa, health takes a knock around 17%. But is that felt on the ground? Do we have patients running out of ARVs? How's the situation like on the ground?
Currently, we do not feel like the cutting of the US aid has affected us drastically. It is hit us hard when we speak about the vets HRR because they had to withdraw their services. But we have a strategic plan to currently try to not make it seem like it's a big factor because services are still rendered, patients are still getting their medication. So it's not a bit of a challenge when it comes to our department.
And Fighter Ubaking, I've seen that the EFF has descended on the doors of Zanzu. You went there to in fact, to ensure that facility is closed following some disturbing reports of people who were harshly beaten. And what happened? Can you just take us into confidence? What happened and what action has the EFF taken?
Look, we have inherited an administration that was very ignorant. Most of the people are now able to understand some bylaws since this administration had taken over. And with the influence of the EFF, of course, with the collective that we're working with, we have came with an initiative of saying, let's go and make sure that there's a compliance in the tuck shops, in the restaurants, taverns, nightclubs, and all that. But the problem is that some people wanted to reduce that campaign into a nationality, which we are not interested. We are looking for someone who's not complying, someone who's not following the law. Doesn't matter which country are you coming from. If you are wrong, you are wrong, and we're going to hold you responsible, and we are going to hold you accountable. The issue of Zanzu, it's a result of the DA governments that have left compliance and bylaws unattended. Because if there was a consistent following into the bylaws, we're not going to have a situation where we have a nightclub that does not comply, that does not have necessarily compliance to be a nightclub. On the issue of what happened, I think it's safe to say we have acted. We have made sure that the place is closed through the MMC of Health, engaging the liquor board, the license has been withdrawn, and the case is with the police, and it will be safe to leave it in the law enforcement's hands, and we hope that justice will prevail. And all those pictures that we see today in Zanzu are not safe for our society, and it's something that we can promote and we condemn it as the EFF here in Tshwane. And we are not going to allow anyone who will behave as if we don't have laws. We are not going to allow any anarchy happening under our leadership. And the people of Tshwane must now start and zoom in and understand governance. They must check who does what. The collective 12 of us, including the executive mayor who has been leading us very well together with the collective. Our people must now start realizing the parties that are part of that collective. And they must respond accordingly come elections, because You can't be praising us working the ground. When it's time for votes, you go and vote. Even people who don't understand anything about governance. I mean, myself and the MMC, we got into this government without any experience. But we hit the ground, we went to the office. At some point when we don't understand, we took time and allowed to be led and allowed to be advised. I can tell you now, we understand what is happening and we are leading our department successfully. You haven't had any allegations of anything, and you are not going to have that. You are not going to have a corrupt MMCs of this government under the EFF. And the EFF has taught us discipline, has taught us respect, has taught us to respect people, ordinary people on the ground. And that's exactly what we are doing here in the city of Tshwane. And we are going to continue doing that in the next 18 months.
Yeah, indeed, Liaspana. So, talk to us about inner city rejuvenation. Like I've said in the opening, that the city is quite clean. Evident with the office where we are right now, it's quite clean. Some of the strategies that you have implemented to ensure that the city is clean and is taken back to its former glory.
So we can check here around Chess Square, how Chess Square used to be, and how we have changed the environment here. And we have buildings that are owned by or run by the Public Works, which is national. Most of those buildings were now engaging with the national government, who are going to make sure that we attempt to contact the owners of the buildings. We have set up a committee that deals with buildings, and together with the MMC of Health, we have went to several buildings to check compliance, but we are satisfied that those buildings are not meeting the national legal requirements. And we are looking into contacting the owners that if we fail to get them, we are going to use expropriation of these buildings without compensation and take them over. It's the law, it's not us. It's the law that was passed by this government, and we can take them to developers who can turn them into student accommodation, low-cost housing, and business if need be. So we have engaged also with the taxi drivers, the hawkers. We have came with a plan. We're going to launch our plan about how do we revive the city. And part of the plan is to make sure that the hawkers are formalized formally and the taxi drivers are engaged, because part of our problem is the taxis and the hawkers who must be educated that this environment is theirs. They need to take care of it. The public toilets, we have a problem of people urinating all over the city, and we know who are the victims. Who does that? I don't think our sisters can just urinate there. So, got the answer. So we have engaged with the stakeholders such as city property and other property owners on how do we make public toilets in the city so that our people are able to go public toilets. And I think we are going to get it right. Something that is not going to be easy. One thing that our people must appreciate is that there was nothing that was happening. It was that white guy of a mayor who was just taking videos and pictures, nothing. We have inherited a city that even workers were not motivated. Workers currently and today are able to engage with us because we are their leaders, and we'll make sure that we work with them, and we are positive that we are going to succeed.
Yeah. And part of building state capacity, which is the gospel that the EFF preaches, include, among others, ensuring that there's insourcing in council or in municipalities. Can you talk us through what initiatives you have done to ensure that this insourcing and perhaps the progress that you've made in that regard?
With insourcing is our fundamental policy. And we have been in the forefront of ensuring that the security guards and the capacity in the city of Tshwane, they are insourced. And with the current financial status of the city, I think we need to be honest that the method that we used in 2018 to insource the first phase of securities did not work for the city, because we have currently security guards who are insourced by the city, are not capacitated, do not have the necessary uniform. They do not even have a a mere torch. That's why I have been complaining that my clinics, because most of them, that is where this insourced security guards are deployed. They fail to protect themselves when there's a need because they literally have nothing. So with the plan that we tried to use before, having it not working for the city, I think we are currently working on having a suitable approach that when we call for insourcing, it must not just be a method that is on paper. It must be something that even when we see that
Must be practical, yeah.
God is the source, can even feel that this person is working for the city. There are currently those who are insourced not happy with the levels that of inequalities that they are experiencing. So we have not gotten out of insourcing, we'll never do. But with the financial constraints, it is difficult for us to take the podium and say that we are calling for insourcing now because we do not have the budget currently to do that. Even with the security tenders that is currently advertised, even if we can say that we are facing it out and going into insourcing, it will still give us a bit of a challenge. But we are currently working on a method that is going to ensure that at the end of the financial year, we'll have a method that will really speak to insourcing and actually make sure that our security guards, our cleaners, they are insourced with and equipped with the necessary reinforcement that they need to perform their work.
Yeah. So, Minister Godongwana, here you have it. Please increase budget to the City of Tshwane. Our MMCs are waiting for budget to insource our workers. Yeah, you can. Sure.
We have issued 100 posts of cleaners for them to be permanent. But the city have been there for the past 4 months. So this is this is evident that we are serious about the insourcing. But remember, it won't happen overnight. And currently we are having engagements, as the MNC have explained, with the leadership of the workers. And we want to assure them that ourselves, we are not going to abandon this struggle. But what is interesting is that even the party that the mayor comes from believe in this thing of insourcing. So it will be a betrayal to the people of Tshwane, the workers, if we don't succeed with this insourcing in this term of office. So we're going to do it. It's not going to be easy because the DA was against insourcing. They were just passing time. That's why they've taken the matter to UP, where we're spending almost 10 million for a research that we don't know for what, because we have done it before. So we're dealing with the reversing that the DA has done, so that we must come with a method that it will be possible for us to resource. The issues of training the security guards of the first phase, the city manager had been given a task to come with a plan. How do we resource this security guard, but also how do we give them more capacity, tools of trade, and make sure that they are trained, they have guns, they have all the necessary tools to make sure they provide that service that is necessary the people of Tshwane. So I agree with the MMC. We are going to insource in our lifetime. Here in Tshwane, come elections, we'll have insourced security guards, and we are not going to abandon that policy of the year.
And you do so not as a matter of electioneering, because elections are around the corner. This is your day-to-day work.
But that's what we are. That's what we are. If you can check, the last week we were cleaning cemeteries. And part of the complaint that we have is about the tender system, where we have to outsource everything. And we pay a lot of money. In my department, only on tender system, on hiring equipment and all that, I spend 600 million a year. And you ask yourself that if we had those equipments in the department, that money was going to be helpful to create jobs, to make sure that we have people who works in the system, who will make sure that they make the office strong. We have currently a budget of 2.1 billion in the department. And I can tell you, many people on the social media, they ask about agriculture. We have nothing there. That's why we're engaging with the national government and the provincial government to make sure that we have resources that will help the agriculture. We currently give out only 5 million budget in the Department of Agriculture. So we are trying to make sure that we have workers who works directly in the city, but also build capacity. And I'm sure not in the health, the MMC has been up and down trying to make sure that we rely on the city capacity, not necessarily 100% on the tender system.
And she had already spoken about the water infrastructure that led to the breakthrough in terms of water supply for the people of Hammanskraal, but also on the part of the plan in the 100-day include energy. And I've seen, as the leadership collective, you've managed to reduce the ESCOM debt. Can you talk to us about that?
We have engaged with the ESCOM, and part of the problem that was happening here in the city is that the leadership led by Mayor Brigg were very arrogant. They didn't want to engage with ESCOM to a point where ESCOM was threatening to switch off electricity. We went to ESCOM and have an arrangement which is between us and ESCOM, and we are comfortable that we are doing very well. Hence, you've seen ESCOM releasing even a letter to say they have reached an agreement with the City of Tshwane, and we are hopeful that before we can say it will be done with the ESCOM debt, because we've inherited a lot of billions that were owed by the city, and it's as a result of financial misconduct. It's a result of the DA failing to manage finances. And it must be said as it is, because the Auditor General also confirmed it. I mean, it's not us politicking, it's the institutions of this country. The Chapter 9 institutions have already told us that the DA couldn't run the finances of the city. We are now trying to collect revenue. We are now trying to make sure that the finances of the city are stable. As we speak, we have a plan of making sure that come the financial year, we have a funded budget. We are currently operating on unfunded budget. For the past 5 years, this city was running with unfunded budget to a point where they take grant money to pay salaries. And this is not the capital city that we wish for. We want a capital city that will be sustainable financially. It requires discipline. It requires political will. And here we are as a collective. We are ready to make sure that we succeed.
Before I come to you, MMC, Tshekgo, I see there's something you want to share with us. MMC Obakeng, how far are you with reviewing the MOUs that includes the AfriForum as well, the contract that they have with the City of Tshwane? Have we made any progress in that regard?
Yeah, we're going to update our residents in due course, and we want to urge them that the reviewing of the MOUs is not about AfriForum. It's the MOUs that we have with different stakeholders, which we want to assess and check if they are still relevant. And if we check that the MOUs that we have, some of them are not relevant or some of them are politically, we are not going to review them, because we don't want political parties to be part of the memorandum of understanding with the city. We want the NGOs that wants to assist Jinongi without pushing any political agenda. On that, definitely we are going to act accordingly.
And in the plan that you have outlined, you talk about taking government to the people, and of course ensuring that you provide basic, equitable basic services to all residents of the City of Tshwane. What have you done so far to ensure that not only white areas are serviced by the municipality?
We have 7 regions, the city. We have day-to-day planning and day-to-day service delivery war room to ensure that there's no area of Tshwane that is not touched in terms of service. Whether be your Pretoria East, Waterproof, Soshanguve, they are all the same when it comes to us, because every resident of the City of Tshwane matters. So we are taking services to each and every part, whether it is an informal settlement that is not recognized by the city, but we understand that those people need to get services. They need to get water. They need to get toilets. That is what we are doing as this government. We do not choose whether you are black or white, blue or green. We are providing services to all the constituency of Tshwane. Also, just to add on the issue of MOUs, maybe society and Twitter and AfriForum thought that when we spoke out about them only providing services to certain areas of the city, they felt like we are fighting. We are not fighting. We are saying that as an NGO, saying that you want to work for the people, you have the willingness to work for the people, you must be comfortable in going to Hammanskraal to give services.
Sure.
What's special about you having an MOU but feeling like you have we must give you special treatment only to work in Centurion, in Brooklyn, in Pretoria West? If you are saying that you want to step in, help the city, have this memorandum of understanding, you need to have the will to go to social movie, wrong or straight, because you must provide services. So we don't want NGOs that are party petty. One NGOs that when we say that you have this truck, can we deploy you to social movie? You must have that willingness to go. That is, it's not about Afiforat, it's not about the Ramabodi, it's about you having the will to service the entire city. If indeed you are about service delivery, or just an affluent area or this.
Sure. And let's talk about food safety, MMC. You serve in the portfolio of health to ensure that everything that we consume is healthy. Counterfeit crisis. Lives were claimed. Children died through consuming, food from local spaza shops. Have you managed to clamp down on those illegal spaza shops that were operating without necessary licenses? And I understand the deadline has passed now for registration. Do we know if all spaza shops are compliant at this point in time?
At this point, I think the City of Tshwane is the highest in terms of registering spaza shops, but with just 5,000 of spaza shops that are currently registered. That tells you that if you walk down the street, I'm sure you are going to get close to 100 spaza shops. It gives you a sense that most of our spaza shops, they are non-compliant. In townships, they are just spaza shops everywhere in the City of Tshwane, but we only have 5,000 applications that were made. And within that 5,000 applicants that are made, there's still a batch of spaza shops that do not meet the requirements. So we are sitting with a national crisis of spaza shops operating illegal. Even the products that they are selling is just a volatile kind of a situation. When you enter into these spaza shops, it's a spaza shop, it's a bedroom, there are cats, it's just a...
They even sleep there.
To a point that they don't even care about their hygiene. And another contributing factor is that it is us who are renting out these spaza shops to these people. They are not ZOT compliant. Could they just do? There's nothing. In 80% of our spaza shops are non-compliant. And what we have picked up, our focus was mainly on spaza shop. These big corporates, they are non-compliant also. Be it your shop rights, your picket pays, your boxers, your chicken.
I'm told you're closing one today.
So they are not compliant. So the focus. The focus.
No, this is going to be aired after.
So the focus was mainly on spaza shops that are run by Indians, but we are big retails that are occupied in big establishments that are non-compliant. They don't have our certificate of acceptability. They are just operating on a nutshell because these are retail stores that are highly known by society. So sometimes we feel like when you get into Pick n Pay, we just assume that they are compliant, whereas they are not compliant. What we are doing now, we have left spaza shops to our health practitioners. We have a program of action each and every day in every region so that they can check for compliance. They can come back and report that these are the spaza shops that are in Brommerspate. And on top of that, these are the number of spaza shops that are only compliant. We are focusing on going to a big brands to ensure that they are also compliant.
In addition,
Sure.
I think on the issue of compliance.
Yeah, before you chip in the MMC, I understand you're whispering that it's a secret. So this episode is going to be aired after your action, so you can share with us which shop are you going to close to ensure compliance.
We are going to shop here.
Yeah.
There's a shop right there. Get carry our. Yeah, if it was the clinic or
And it's illegal.
we're not sure what's still going there.
Okay.
Our couple in the TAPT and Doni, they are already there waiting for her.
Okay. We're coming. Sure. You can come in, MMC. Yeah.
So on issues of compliance, we have discovered that there's a problem with the waste collectors. So there are private waste collectors who goes around the malls collecting waste, and they are not helping with anything, because even in the landfill sites, they are part of the corruption that is happening, and it's alleged that they don't pay directly to the municipality. There are people who are there in Mamelodi, in Promospruit, in the landfills, taking advantage of the infrastructure that is not working, that we are busy with trying to sort. So we went to Blue Valley Mall, where the MMC closed the Pick and Pay, which was closed for 2 weeks, and it was open after she went to do an oversight to check if it's compliant. And we have seen their statement of the city with one bin that we have to collect, and we every day there in that same. But when we check at the back there, we realize that there are more than 85 of those. So you can realize that if it's like that, it means they only pay for one, but we collect for that 85. So it means they don't pay us the 85 permanently since they've opened there. So we have also discovered 10,000 accounts that were not paying us. And most of them, what is said is that they are in the estates. And we are coming for them. And those are the things that those who came before us, they were not interested. What were they doing? I don't know. They like offices. That's why this office is fast. I'm not here. They spend their time in offices, and they are not able to go to the ground and understand the problems. We went to the resorts where there was corruption, where some of our employees were taking gate takings there. We have done an investigation, and we came to a conclusion to do a cashless system. So there's no cash that you must pay in those resorts, be it Muretele Park, be it Atteridgeville Fountains. We found you with the money exchanging with an employee. Then we attend to you, because it was not helping us. Our revenue was affected. And part of the things that we are trying to do now is to bring stakeholders to revive these areas. Your Muretele Park, your fountains. We used to have a restaurant called Moyo in Fountains. We used to have many facilities there, activities. Currently, there's nothing. You only go there, you see trees and the rice stand and the swimming pool. You need a lot of programs there. You need restaurants, you need hotels inside the Oriflay, which there are a lot of animals there. You need to have more programs that will attract people from different provinces to come and utilize those areas. So that's what we are going to do. And we were taught by the EFF that when we give in responsibility, we must pay attention into detail and make sure that we deliver. But what is interesting is that our councillors on the ground are also part of the program. They make sure that the EFF respond to issues of service delivery, even the departments that we are not part of. So you can say we are also running government in different departments, and I hope that my colleagues won't be offended. But when they say there's a problem sewer, I can't fold my arms and I say, no, it's not my department. When there's an issue of street life, the issue of crime, I can't fold my arms and say, no, we are not going to respond. Remember ourselves as collective here. We are not only managing our departments, we are managing the interest of the EFF ground forces and supporters. And part of that is that they are affected by housing, they are affected by health, they are affected by utility services. We are currently told that there's an eviction somewhere in Tembelish. We are not going to wait for a housing MMC. After this interview, we are going to go there and check if we can assist our people, because most of the time we are thinking that you must only focus on your department. But our colleagues understand that we are going to question the issue of buildings, we are going to question the issue of corruption. We already questioned many allegations of corruption. We have dealt with a senior directors in this city, 2 of them who were suspended. GSO is part of those seniors. And currently we are checking if we can push the HR and the disciplinary processes done by the city manager to be concluded. And where there's no fair approach, we have urged the city manager not to target people, but to use facts and make sure that there's an accountability. So we are all over the city. We're trying to check what is happening, and we are going to respond accordingly. It's not going to be an overnight, but we are appealing to the people of Tshwane to give us a chance as collective, but particularly the EFF.
It's a multifaceted approach indeed. Oh, I wanted to check if there's dust. So I think what the MMC was trying to say is that it's always on the ground and the office is very clean. So, so MMC, as we wind up, what can you promise the residents of Tshwane as the MMC of environmental and agricultural management in the city of Tshwane? We have seen your work in the past 100 days, but going forward, what can people look forward to?
The Rwanda approach, the Japan approach of making sure that our people take responsibility of cleanup campaigns monthly and own up to their environment, and making sure that they organize themselves together with the municipality. Every month they clean their area at least for 2 hours. That's the approach that we are taking. But also we are looking into rewarding communities with some bursaries. We are talking to different stakeholders. If you are a community of Mamelodi at the certain section where you are consistently cleaning your environment together with the city, we can pick up 5 young people and give them bursary to make sure that we encourage you and encourage the society to clean up. So we are coming with a lot of programs, and some programs that we are coming with are not going to be easy, but we are going to fight and make sure that we implement them. We want to target the informal settlement and deal with the waste collection there. Remember, they are not paying, and we want to come with a model that will help us to collect there, because we spend 30 million yearly on illegal dumpings, and that money was supposed to be taken somewhere. But if we go and educate our people on issues of illegal dumping, it will reduce that money that we spend on illegal dumping. And most of that money goes to the tender system. If we're spending that money on workers, at least it was going to be something. Now we are spending that money on TLBs, and I know I'm not going to be popular to the tender people, but I can tell you, tender system, it's a problem here in the city of Tshwane. The sooner we accept that, at least we must have a certain capacity. We can't entirely rely 100% on a tender. In my department, we don't have even a TLB. We have to rely on the private companies to give us that. That's why, with that being said, I have instructed the group head of my department that come financial year, we must spend at least 20 million on buying equipment that will belong to the department. We want TLBs, we want tipper trucks, and we want to get permanent people who will drive those tipper trucks and have system where we're going to monitor them. This tender system, it's okay for those who are enjoying it, but it's not sustainable for the city. That's why we have a city that is not moving for the past 8 years. Only now, 4 months we got in, we now start to see something that we don't even have to be praised. This thing of being praised that our people are, the city is clean, the Department of Health is working, it's not something that our people must celebrate. They are entitled and supported by the Constitution that they have a right to get those services. Currently, because people were not delivering, people think that those things are a miracle. They are not. It's what's supposed to happen daily, because the Constitution says we must take care of our people. Part of the municipality's duty is to deliver services to our people, water, electricity, and make sure that the city is clean. We have noticed the issue of grass cutting, the issues of potholes, while engaging with our MMCs, and we will soon come with a program that will attend to that issue of potholes. The good thing about this administration is that we don't wait for a problem. We are the ones who discover a problem. So there's no opposition party, hostile party that is going to tell us that you must come and clear illegal dumping. No, we know where are the illegal dumping. Since we got in here 4 months, we have cleared 745 illegal dumpings, which is something that I'm saying we're spending a lot of money on that because our people are now understanding that littering is a problem. We came with a bylaw where we fine you 5,000 to 15,000 if we get you dumping on an area where you are not supposed to. And we are engaging with the TMPD to make sure that they implement that bylaw, because with those bylaws, we are going to win this battle. But you can't come with the bylaws if you don't collect the refusal removals in the squatter camps where they take them to. So come with a system on how do you collect, then come with a bylaw and punish those who are not following the system that you are coming with. So we will come with those solutions, and we are collective with the MMC, and many people don't understand how do we make it, because we are not competing. We are not jealous in each other, and we don't think these positions are ours personal. They belong to the EFF. That's why every day we can wake up anytime. The EFF can decide to deploy anyone. We are not going to be crybabies. We are going to continue on supporting this organization because we are who we are because of this year.
Yeah, that's the spirit. That's the spirit. Thank you very much. And what can the people of Tshwane expect from your office? We have seen your work over the past 100 days, but going forward, what are your key priorities?
Our first key priority is that we want a city that is free from drugs and substance abuse. Well, you know that Tshwane is a student center, and we are currently with a program with the University of Pretoria that deals with substance and drug abuse, that is COSAP. We have centers in all our regions whereby they rehabilitate people who are currently using substance abuse. We have ground food soldiers who are currently doing door-to-door where there's a problem or where a residents feel like my child is a user. They can reach out to the city and we can go there and ensure that we assist the situation while it's still fresh. Another issue is that we are actually providing the best healthcare service in the city of Tshwane, with our clinics having an ideal clinical status, ensuring that we are actually doing what is supposed to be done in terms of providing the primary healthcare. Another issue is that we are going to partnership with universities such as SMU, TUT, and UNISA to ensure that we bring all these institutions on board when we start with our health programs. We are a government that cares for its people. We are a government that listens, and criticism to us is actually what drives us every day. Make sure that we are responsive. We note the criticism, and ours is to ensure that we give the best services to the people of Tshwane. We are not saying that we are overlooking the 8 years that the people of Tshwane have spent not getting services. I mean, just to get a broom and clean a church square was very difficult. But we can even see that it was not about our employees on the ground. They have the will to work, because we can see that we are currently having EPWPs that are actually excited to wake up and go and clean the city of Tshwane. That was not done. It's not something that was supposed to just be left out, like the infrastructure that we currently have that is dilapidated. We are going to take buildings that are currently illegally occupied. Some are going to demolish them because they are currently used as whether it's people who are selling drugs and others are doing their illegal activities there. So ours is to ensure that the residents of Tshwane get the best services. They must never sit and feel like when they criticize the government, we take it to heart. That is exactly what they need to do, because we are a government that was made by the people.
Your parting shot, MMC?
We have engaged with the MMC for housing to avail what we call bulk stand. Bulk stand meaning that we give you a stand with the water infrastructure, with the sewer, with the electricity that you can build for yourself. So those are the programs that we are coming with to deal with issues of informal settlement, but also the people of inner sport are being relocated. The promise that we've made on the people of Mamelodi who were affected by the floods there, we are attending to that. So we are focusing on that even when we are on the local government. The issue of land is the pillar of the EFF that we can't forget, and we are going to make sure that it finds expression even when we are only 2 in the executive of 12 mayoral committee members. Thank you.
No, thank you very much for coming through, MMC, both of you, and we wish you all the best as we continue providing these much needed services to our people.